Hello, beautiful ones. Dr. Niikee here. So this video is part 3 of the most recent meditation mini-series that I have been sharing. If you've not seen Meditation 101 and Meditation 102, I highly recommend going to do those first, because this being part 3 is going to be an add-on from part 1 and part 2. And so for this video, I wanted to talk about receiving insight. And so as you're probably, most of you at least, would be aware, that we all have an innate capacity to have another level of awareness. And so that is awareness that is outside something that we have learnt within the physical, that we've currently learned, read out of a book, or we've been told by somebody. And it's all related. I'm not going to go too much into it in this video, because I do have a lot of other resource that talks about that in a lot more depth. But for this one, we're just talking about how some of the 3 key steps actually to be able to receive insight. And so the first one comes from Meditation 101, which is finding stillness. And so, because our innate knowing or our intuition comes through our energy layers, that it is subtle information. And because it is subtle, we need to be in stillness. And so while we're running around being busy with our mind focusing on 30 different things all at the same time, when the information is there for you, the intuitive information, it would be practically impossible for you to be able to discern that from the fear response, from being in fight or flight if you're stressed, or from that overthinking mind. And so this is one of the things that I often get asked, is people ask about, well, how do you know if I'm just not making it up, or I'm not just thinking it? And so finding stillness is a really important key. And so once we're able to, work with that breath, become very present in the moment, it cuts down a lot of the white noise, all of the other stuff, that's in the background, that allows you to be able to find that space between the thoughts. And so I talked in the second episode, Meditation 102, a little bit more about creating space. And so this is very much related to our nervous system. And so ways that we can take ourselves out of that stress response that actually allows the mind to relax enough to not be always just grabbing at any little snippets of the past, the worries about the future, the to-do list, all of the stuff that goes on. So step 2 is creating space. And we do that as well. We can easily do that through the breath. Other ways is doing things that we really enjoy and being connected to it. And so, it's referred to sometimes as a flow state. So if you're an artist and you're in the middle of doing art, or, if you're in your garden and you're working in your garden, if you're watching a beautiful sunset, anything that helps you to bring you to that 0 point, that moment when you are completely present, and that moment when you're not getting taken away by every other distracting thought or other distracting thing that is possible. And so this is what then creates the container. And so another thing that's really important is that insight is received. It is not something that we can go and get. Because as soon as we have the going and getting energy, we're in that masculine doing, that left brain energy that gets things done. So to receive insight, we need to be holding an open, still space, receptive container to be able to receive that information. And so this is that more of that feminine energy, that open receptiveness, that container that will then receive the information. And just a little caveat there, there's no better being male, masculine or feminine. And actually in our timelines, one of our main evolutionary processes is to integrate those aspects. And, you know, in the modern world today, we're very much dominated by that masculine energy because we're always all in the doing. You know, no matter how much of a, you know, a carer, a feminine, you know, mothering figure, a lot of the time we're pushed into that doing and overdoing, or we were anyway, up until we've all been forced into stillness for a bit. And that's all that masculine energy, and it's taking us away from that inner knowing. And so finding that still space and that receptive container. And then step 3 is to raise our vibration. And so this is another really important key point, because higher frequency information can be accessed when you're at that same vibrational frequency, because energy magnetizes itself. So whatever is a vibrational match will draw more of itself to it. So we A, find stillness, B, create the space, and then C, work on consciously raising our vibration. And then once we have all of those, I'll take you through a process in a moment. And once we have all of those 3 things in place, we are holding the space to be able to receive the information, but we're also vibrating at a frequency high enough to receive higher frequency information. And so this is another way that you can be sure that it's not your ego, or it's not your mind, or it's not doubts and fears, because higher frequency information is exactly that. It is higher frequency. So you will know when you're receiving insight as opposed to fear program information by the frequency of the information that you're receiving. Is it higher vibing or is it lower fear vibing? And that's a really good rule of thumb to be able to differentiate. And so the easiest way to get into a higher vibrational frequency is to consciously bring those energies in to our own field. And so if you're safe to do so, I'll get you to close down your eyes. And as you take that moment to turn inwards and finding that breath, and starting to slow down that breath if you can. Just knowing that you're breathing in and knowing that you're breathing out. And as you continue to ride the waves of the breath, just starting to really feel into that expansiveness that gets created with the in-breath. And then that release and surrender that gets created with the out-breath. Now, as you continue just to simply follow that breath, allowing yourself to now bring to mind something that you feel grateful for today. Anything at all that's been in your day so far that you're grateful for. And as you hold that in your mind's eye, feeling that feeling, how does that gratitude feel for you? You might notice that feeling in your heart space. If it's not, bring that feeling into your heart space. The heart vibrates at that same frequency as gratitude. And so as we bring the gratitude into that space, it activates and magnifies that energy. Now, as you continue with that gentle, steady breath, now taking your mind to yesterday. And was there something that you feel grateful for yesterday? Could be simply being alive, anything at all. And again, feeling what that felt like or what that does feel like. Bringing that into your heart space. And then what about last week? You can take your mind to last week and bring to mind something last week that brought you gratitude. Could be the same thing that brings you gratitude every day. And just feeling that gratitude, it's the feeling that creates the frequency. Just like giving yourself permission to really feel that feeling of gratitude, that joy comes with that gratitude. What about last month? Just taking your mind back to last month. And was there something last month that really stood out for you? Feeling that gratitude once more. That joy. Starting to feel that radiating out from your heart space. And what about last year? Take your mind back to last year. Was there an overarching that happened last year that you feel deeply grateful for? And again, bringing that feeling into your heart space, feeling it compound with all of that other wonderful gratitude, all of the wonderful things we are so fortunate to have in our lives. And that feeling in our hearts, radiating that out now through all of your energy layers, just allowing yourself to fully be immersed in that feeling of gratitude. It does not need to be for anything specifically. Just feeling that joy, raising your vibration. Big, deep breaths, breathing that gratitude and that appreciation. Just allowing yourself to bathe in those feelings for another couple of breaths. And then as you bring your awareness right back into your heart space, maybe just asking yourself, is there something that I should know right now? Something that will benefit my highest good? And just keep holding that feeling, being open to receive in whichever way you receive information. It may be a thought, a feeling, a vision, or a knowing. And then thanking your heart space and thanking yourself for allowing this process, allowing this connection, growing your awareness to that greater reality. I'll leave you in this space for a little longer. Take care.